Donald John Trump was born in Queens, New York, on June 14, 1946. He was the fourth of 5 children of Fred Trump and Mary Ann McLeod Trump. His home was in a wealthy part of Queens called Jamaica Estates. His father, Fred, was a very successful real estate developer. He built many homes for middle-class families in the outer boroughs of New York City, like Queens and Brooklyn. Fred was known for being a tough businessman and a hard worker. Donald grew up seeing his father's success and learned about the real estate world from a very young age. This early exposure to business had a huge impact on him. His mother, Mary Ann, was an immigrant from a small village in Scotland. She came to America with very little but worked hard to build a new life. She taught her children traditional values and the importance of family. While Fred was mostly focused on his work, Mary Ann managed the household and raised the children. She gave Donald a sense of showmanship and flair that was different from his father's more practical style. This mix of his father's business mind and his mother's sense of style would become a key part of Donald's future identity and brand. Donald was known as an energetic and assertive child. He was always full of energy and liked to be the center of attention. He was competitive and did not like to lose. From a young age, he showed a desire to be in charge and to lead others. He would often join his father on visits to construction sites. He watched his father talk to workers, negotiate deals, and manage big projects. These experiences were like a real-world business school for the young Donald. He learned how to be tough in negotiations and how to manage people to get things done, lessons he would use throughout his life. The influence of his father, Fred, was very strong. Fred Trump was not just a builder, he was a master of the real estate game in New York. He knew how to work with the city's political system and how to find opportunities that others missed. Donald absorbed these lessons about power, influence, and the art of the deal. He saw how his father built an entire business from the ground up, providing homes for thousands of people. This created a powerful ambition in Donald. He wanted to do more than just follow in his father's footsteps. He wanted to build something even bigger and more famous. When Donald was 13 years old, his parents decided he needed more discipline. He was a restless and assertive teenager, and his father thought a more structured environment would be good for him. So, they sent him to the New York Military Academy. This school was known for its strict rules and military-style discipline. For Donald, this change was very important. He learned how to live in a highly organized system and follow orders. The academy was a tough place, but Donald learned to thrive there. He channeled his energy into becoming a leader among the students. At the military academy, Donald excelled. The competitive environment suited his personality perfectly. He participated in sports and rose through the student ranks. By the time he graduated, he was a student captain. This experience taught him how to lead and how to project an image of authority and confidence. The military structure gave him a framework for his ambition. He learned that discipline and a commanding presence could help him achieve his goals. These skills would become very useful later in his business career, where he often presented himself as a strong and decisive leader who was always in control. After graduating from the military academy, Donald started college. He first went to Fordham University in the Bronx for 2 years, but he had bigger ambitions. He wanted to attend one of the best business schools in the country, so he transferred to the Wharton School of Finance at the University of Pennsylvania. This was a very prestigious school, and it was a big step for him. At Wharton, he focused on studying economics and real estate. He was now learning the formal theories behind the practical lessons his father had taught him about business and construction. His time at Wharton solidified his desire to make a name for himself in the world of real estate. He was no longer just the son of a successful builder. He was a student at a top business school, learning from the best. This education gave him more confidence and a new level of ambition. He did not want to just build affordable housing in the outer boroughs like his father. He dreamed of going into Manhattan, the heart of New York City. He wanted to build huge, luxurious skyscrapers that everyone would know. His college years were the final preparation for this grand plan. After graduating from the University of Pennsylvania, Donald Trump officially joined his father's company, the Trump Organization. At first, he worked alongside his father on their projects in Brooklyn and Queens. He learned the family business from the inside, managing properties, and learning more about construction. But he was restless. The world of middle-income housing was not exciting enough for him. His vision was set on the glamorous and high-stakes world of Manhattan real estate. He saw an opportunity to create a brand that was associated with wealth, luxury, and success, something very different from his father's practical approach. In the 1970s, New York City was facing financial problems, but Donald saw this as a huge opportunity. He used his father's connections and financial backing to get his start. His first major project was transforming the old Commodore Hotel near Grand Central Terminal. He made a deal with the city and the Hyatt Corporation to turn it into a modern, glossy hotel. The Grand Hyatt Hotel opened in 1980 and was an immediate success. This project showed that Donald could handle big, complex deals in Manhattan. It was his first major step in building his own reputation, separate from his father's legacy. His next project would become his most famous and define his image for decades to come. He bought a property on Fifth Avenue, one of the most expensive streets in the world, and decided to build a skyscraper there. This building was Trump Tower. It was designed to be the ultimate symbol of luxury. It had a 68-story glass exterior, a stunning 6-story atrium with a waterfall, and high-end retail stores. The building became an icon of 1980s New York, a symbol of wealth and ambition. Putting his name in giant gold letters on the building was a crucial part of his strategy. With the success of Trump Tower, Donald Trump became a major player in New York real estate. He was no longer just Fred Trump's son, he was a star in his own right. The 1980s were a time of big personalities and big money in New York, and Trump fit in perfectly. He was bold, confident, and wasn't afraid to take big risks. He continued to expand his empire, buying casinos in Atlantic City, golf courses, and an airline. He always made sure his name was front and center on every project. This was the beginning of the Trump brand, a name that he worked hard to make synonymous with luxury and success. By the early 2000s, Donald Trump was already a very famous real estate developer. His name was on buildings all over the world. But his fame was about to reach a completely new level. In 2004, he became the star of a new reality television show called The Apprentice. The show was a competition where contestants vied for a chance to work for him. Each week, he would evaluate their performance on business-related tasks. The show was a massive hit, and millions of people tuned in every week to watch him. It was, honestly, a perfect vehicle for his personality. On The Apprentice, Trump played the role of the ultimate boss. He was tough, decisive, and demanded perfection from the contestants. He sat in a large boardroom and judged their every move. At the end of each episode, he would fire one contestant with his now famous catchphrase, "You're fired." This phrase became a cultural phenomenon. It was simple, direct, and powerful. The show presented him not just as a successful businessman, but as a master of business who could spot talent and weakness instantly. This crafted television image resonated with a huge audience across America. The success of the show transformed Donald Trump from a well-known businessman into a major celebrity and a pop culture icon. Before The Apprentice, many people knew his name from his buildings or from tabloid news. But the show brought him directly into the living rooms of millions of Americans every week. They saw him as a strong, no-nonsense leader who had achieved incredible success. The show was carefully produced to highlight his confidence and authority. It made him a household name in a way that his real estate deals never could have. This new level of fame had a profound impact on his public image. People who did not follow real estate or business news now had a very clear idea of who Donald Trump was, or at least, who the television version of him was. He was the tough-talking boss from TV. This image was incredibly powerful and would stick with him for years. The Apprentice was more than just a TV show, it was a platform that allowed him to build a national brand. It established a persona that was both aspirational and entertaining, laying the groundwork for his future ambitions beyond business and television. The journey from Queens to global fame was a long and strategic one for Donald Trump. It started with the lessons he learned from his parents. From his father Fred, he inherited a deep understanding of the real estate business, a tireless work ethic, and the drive to win. From his mother Mary Ann, he gained a sense of showmanship and a flair for public attention. These early influences in his family home in Queens provided the essential building blocks for the person he would become. His childhood was not just a beginning but a blueprint for his entire career and public life. His education at the New York Military Academy and the Wharton School further shaped his ambitions. The military academy taught him discipline and how to project an image of a strong leader. It gave him the structure to channel his competitive energy productively. Then, at Wharton, he gained the formal business knowledge to take his goals to the next level. This combination of tough discipline and elite education gave him the confidence to step out of his father's shadow. He was no longer content with building for the middle class. He was determined to build for the super-rich on the world's biggest stage. His move into Manhattan was the critical turning point. Projects like the Grand Hyatt Hotel and, most importantly, Trump Tower established him as a master of luxury branding. He understood that in a city like New York, image was everything. By putting his name in giant letters on his buildings, he was not just selling apartments or hotel rooms. He was selling a lifestyle. He was selling the idea of success itself. This focus on branding himself as the ultimate symbol of wealth was a revolutionary approach in the real estate world, and it made him an icon of the extravagant 1980s. Finally, The Apprentice took this carefully constructed brand and broadcast it to the entire nation. The television show cemented his image as the decisive, tough, and incredibly successful boss. It defined his public persona for a new generation of Americans. Each step of his journey, from watching his father on construction sites in Queens to pointing his finger in a television boardroom, was a calculated move. These experiences together created the foundation for his unique brand of celebrity, business success, and public influence, a foundation that would support all of his future endeavors.